Hello and welcome to the Irish Arsenal GOONER podcast. It's Tuesday, March the 15th. I'm your host, Jonathan Giles, as always. I'm joined by my weekly guests at this stage, Martin Alex Manninger Stumble. It was growing a bit of facial hair since last Tuesday, you know. And Eric, who am I, Shadows? How are you, lads?
Not too bad.
Yeah, good to be back.
Yeah,
great to be back. Sadly, John and Eamon can't be with us, so frustrating, so we can't have Eamon on. So I don't know who's going to pick up the actions for this week. I leave it between Martin and Eric this week.
We already have different accents. We're good.
We don't need to make them up.
I didn't want to say anything discriminatory towards you. I'm glad you said it for me. Oh, it's good. Yeah, sadly they otherwise engaged, so we hope to have them back next Tuesday. So we'll make do with what we have here. I'm sure we'll make a good go of it. Before I start, we'll just go to Martin first. Did we get many views, Martin, on last week's show?
Yeah, we got a normal kind of views, kind of like we got a few more subscriptions as well, which is great. And yeah, we just slowly grown it, and I think it's just something, as I said, it's probably not the easiest just to listen to us for about an hour every week, you know. So you just have to pick your moments. And yeah, but like it's great to see. Like since we're on YouTube, we didn't lose a game, so knock wood.
There we go.
That's probably there out the door, so that's gonna be
we haven't lost the game.
You would say that right before we play you Liverpool.
Exactly. That's what it is. Look, it's just kind of a scene, but what we want is more people to comment on our stuff, like, you know, like, and let us know what you want to do. Ask us some questions, you know. I mean, we have like last week we had loads of people going over to London, seeing the things from a different point of view, you know. Like, is there anything else you want to talk about? So that's why we want to get the people to get involved. And yeah, like, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And just give us some information what you think we should do, you know. And that's basically what we're trying to achieve, you know. Like, and look, we are going to go back in the club as well, you know, and we're going to get probably some more live stuff as well, and we're going to get more features and things up to it. So yeah, we grow on it. That's good.
And also to add to that, if you'd like any features added to the show that you think will be good, throw it on the comment on the YouTube, and we'll have a look into it and see does it work for us, because it's all about the show and how we can enhance it to make it better for ourselves and obviously you, the listeners, as well. So all comments, good or bad, are welcome. We're all men here. We can take it. As long as we get 4 plays, don't bother leaving any other comments. Only positive vibes here till May. Of course, you can catch us on our the platforms, social platforms of Spotify, SoundCloud, and of course the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel. Thanks to Martin there for all the work he puts in there, getting us on that. On this week's show, we'll be reviewing our 2-0 home success against Leicester City. A great win and a great performance by all regards. We'll also be previewing tomorrow's big match against Liverpool. Always a cracker, always goals in it. And that's one of our games in hand, actually. It was due to be played at the end of February, but Liverpool are in the Carabao Cup final. So that's it's a big game. It's always a great atmosphere, regardless of league positions. But this season of all, I think it's even bigger with Liverpool in the title chase and us in front. It should be a cracking game. We'll also be previewing Saturday's 12:30 kickoff away to Aston Villa, another big game with COYG there in charge of Villa. So another one to look forward to. So we'll be previewing that as well. And of course, at the end of the show, all things football and all things Arsenal. So over the next half hour or so, I hope you enjoy our company. So we begin with our 2-0 victory on Sunday. Goals by Thomas Partey and a penalty from Alexander Lacazette, who's just having a great last couple of months for us. And I think, in my opinion, deserves probably maybe another season contract the way he's going, you know, maybe even 2, maybe. But I think he's definitely worth looking into, I think, regarding the contract situation. I suppose the main points was the first goal, a superb corner by Martinelli and a brilliant header by Partey. at the near post, took it really well, and I thought Partey had a good game on Sunday. As Eamon said last week, he's really impressed since coming back off the African Nations Cup in January, and hopefully he can continue that form till the end of the season. In terms of really Leicester in the first half, a great header from Harvey Barnes, but an equally great save from Aaron Ramsdale, that one-handed save. Rogers thought it was in, but what a save from Ramsdale, my hero. I talk about him week on week, but look, absolutely brilliant. 12 clean sheets already this season. What a sign for £30 million. That win was our 5th straight Premier League win in a row, and a great start to 2022. We only lost to Man City on New Year's Day, and luckily, I think we'd all agree on that as well. So what a beginning to the new year. In terms of the other action, Odegaard played superb again. He was all around the pitch and controlled the midfield really for us again. Just he's having a superb season. And of course the second goal, a blatant handball by Soyuncu when you look back on it through VAR and the replays. And Lacazette, what a penalty. Barry's confidence is just growing through him, game on game. And look, we saw the game out pretty much after that. And Leicester, in fairness, didn't really cause as much problems. The loss of Vardy was a big one for them. But when he's not playing, you can see that they're really in trouble. There's nothing really going forward. But that could have been a tricky game as well. But we came through it really, really well. And another 3 points at home and a clean sheet. The man that was at the ground was Eric. And I'll go to you first, Eric. How did you see the game from your match point or viewpoint, should I say?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was great to be back in the stadium. And, I hadn't, with the pandemic, I hadn't had a chance to be back since I, went from going somewhere to 5 to 10 matches to 0. So it was just great to be back in the ground.
Yeah.
And it was, the atmosphere was great. It was like a party by the end of it. The Olays were going on. It was a really great atmosphere. And so, yeah, I think that what really stood out to me was, particularly we started the game really fast, really kind of quick, intricate passing sequences, seemed to put them under a lot of pressure. I think got the goal off a corner, but could have easily probably had another 1 or 2 in there. We were really putting them under pressure. And it was just really impressive a start. After that, I think Leicester settled down a bit, got on the ball, and really moved us around a lot in a way that I think we struggled with. We started turning the ball over too much, and it created a lot of problems for us. And you mentioned Ramsdale's save. Ben White had a phenomenal last chance tackle, which was sort of right in front of where we were sitting, and it was last ditch stuff. So but we saw it through and got into halftime, and from there, I think Martin Odegaard definitely ran the show. He was tremendous.
Superb, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I do think that Thomas Partey was right there with him. I mean, his control on the ball, and both of them had moments that the crowd just sort of like took a short breath, like whoa, because there were some touches and some flicks around the corner and stuff that people were doing that really caught the eye. But I think it's a good example of where we changed things is that in that first half, Martinelli caused them a lot of problems in particular because we were going over the top. Yeah. And in that second half, we just said we are going to keep possession at all costs, which put those two in particular, Odegaard and Partey, under a lot of pressure to go and keep the ball. And they were receiving it really tight spaces, and they did a great job. If you look at the first half in particular, I think it was Madison and Iheanacho would stand on either side of Partey as kind of the initial press. Instead of going all the way forward to our center backs, they just stood on either side of Partey and stopped all supply lines, which is sort of why we started playing it over the top. But in the second half, those passing lines opened up, and we just cut them to ribbons. Clear penalty. I will say from the stadium, you couldn't quite see, even though we were sitting there right in front of the goal, you couldn't quite see what happened. But you saw all the Arsenal players react. And then, of course, Jesus, like, VAR couldn't have taken any longer to look at it. But as soon as they showed a replay, it's a stone cold obvious.
You can see it nearly well, didn't he, Soyuncu? You nearly think it didn't come off the way he done it so quickly.
Honestly,
he wouldn't. Yeah,
I think VAR took that long. They just wanted to find something not to give us a penalty. They
Yeah.
needed something to say. What can we do here? We have to find something.
Yeah, we have to.
I mean, obviously, like I didn't get a chance to watch it on TV, so I don't know what the angles looked like or anything else. But they showed one quick replay as soon as they gave the handball, and it was really, really obvious straight away. The whole crowd knew it, and they kind of. But what I loved about that moment was, as we were waiting around, the whole crowd just started chanting Arsenal, Arsenal, and it continued while Lacazette was walking up to take the penalty. Like it was a really kind of, normally people are very almost quiet
Nervous,
for the penalty, but people were chanting the whole time he was like walking up to take the kick. It was a wild sort of thing to see, but yeah, great penalty by Lacazette. A little stutter step and really, he put it where it wasn't going to be saved. So fair play to him. Great, he's a good penalty taker. And then from there it was the Martin Odegaard show, right? He was doing all sorts on the ball that they couldn't live with. And we probably could have scored another goal in there at least. It was just a great performance. I mean, we were playing so well. Another 20 plus shots. I mean, this is decent, lads. Like this is good football. It's just there's no other way to really put it. Like we can break down a lot of individual performances or whatever else, but like the team is playing really well as a collective. And it's just fun to watch. It's really, really good.
Yeah, and that's really refreshing when you say that. It's fun to watch because we've had so many seasons over the last 2 or 3 years where you say, Jay, I never want to watch that again. But that 11 that we have at the moment, he seems happy with that 11, and that's great because we haven't had so many weeks at the same starting 11 for a long, long time. And even Odegaard said it afterwards, he says he feels so real togetherness here like he never felt before in any team, and he's played for Madrid and all. That says so much about how Arteta's gelled him, hasn't it?
Absolutely, and I think you have to give Arteta a lot of credit here because you go back even to last season, and we were better in the second half of last season. But even at the start of this season, when we started winning matches and we came back into it after that tough first 3 matches, we weren't scoring a ton of goals. We weren't creating a ton of chances. But this is different, right? Like since December, this is different. I mean, we're getting almost double the shots we were. We're putting them under so much pressure. We have so much more possession. Though weirdly, this match, I think we didn't even have 50% possession. I think which somehow
very strange.
But I think it was because in that 15 to 20 minute period, Leicester was on top. They just had so much of the ball that it sort of skewed the metric. But really, I just thought I was watching the match, and at the end I was saying, like, the crowd was doing the olays. It was you had the whole both the ends like jumping up and down and singing at the end, and just it was like a festival, and like it's just everybody's coming together and saying this is good. You can see it, you can feel it. It's really, really good, and like it's so promising, to see that progress, and I think you just have to give Arteta credit. He's found the solutions. He's found ways to put people in positions to really create chances and score goals. I think I know we're going to touch on this in a bit, but I'm really looking forward to this Liverpool match simply because it's a chance to test it against the best. Like Liverpool is one of the best 2 or 3 teams in Europe right now, and it'll be great to see. It's almost a free hit, and it's just like, let's go out there and see how it works. I mean, maybe we get smashed, but I don't think so. And even if we do, we'll go out there and we'll smash Villa after it, because like that's the mentality of the team just seems so strong right now that I'm really excited for everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And you can even see, I thought before actually move on to Martin, sorry, I thought it was a class touched by the club by sticking Oleg Lushney's name on the back of the matchday programme. You know, it was really nice touch with all that's happening, and you know, with all that's going on. I thought the Premier League has really stood up really to it as well. You know, they've really embraced the whole thing, you know, and not to forget them. Sorry, Martin, what did you make of the match on Sunday?
Yeah, just to follow up on the point with Oleg Luzhny, like it's like I think that's one of the biggest things, like what Arteta brought back is kind of like, you know, like this togetherness, this being a unit. That's exactly what it is. He got rid of all the bad apples, you know. He got rid of the Willians, he got rid of the Aubameyang. I know whatever happens, we might see it in the Amazon documentary what really happened, but he got rid of the bad vibes in the team, and I think that's one of them. And having stuff like that, like he had the jersey of Luzhny hanging up, you know, with the 22.
Yeah,
he was in the program, you know, so that's kind of shows what Arsenal are now as a unit. That's what they want to portray to the outside as well. We are strong, we are together. That's not just a slogan what they put up, like, and that's exactly I think what we are now as well. And you can see it going to the fans, because I see so many on social media, so many videos, you know, like I'm in a WhatsApp group where people taking live shots. I put the penalty from Lacazette up on TikTok and shown, like, you know, like different angles from it, you know, how the crowd react. And it just shows like where we are as a club. But for me, as we all say, like, yeah, Odegaard, this thing is, but like I'm gonna call this this episode today Party On, because Partey is really on fire at the moment, and which is great to see. And again, we mentioned it before the show. Since Partey, Xhaka, and Odegaard are playing together, we only lost one game, and that was the Man City game. And that's exactly what we need. And this is kind of like the way the tactics are been going. Like, you know, Xhaka having this, we actually nearly playing like a 4-1-5 with no striker forward, because we have like Martinelli. We had Xhaka going forward, then Lacazette being in the middle, and Odegaard in the middle, and then Saka. So we have this kind of front in front of Partey. And this is kind of the way the stuff flows. And it opens up a lot more spaces, which we never had before. And we are shooting. Oh, my God. In the last 3 games, we had like, well, over 20 shots on goal every single time, which is great. And that's exactly what it is. We're creating chances. And the goals will come. And look at Partey. That goal he scored is exactly the carbon copy of what he scored against Villa in I think it was in September, October.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Another header, exactly what it is. That's not what he normally does, but that's what he scores at the moment. But oh my God, didn't he have a chance like to make it an absolute screamer, which is just bounced off the crossbar? If that would have gone in, like, you know, the place would have gone even more erupted than it would have already has. But yeah, look, I think Partey's coming back from the African Nations Cup. Even that when he came back, he didn't have the best like entrance. Even, you know, he tried to play and then he got the red card like 10 minutes later. But yeah, since then, like they are just playing really on fire, and that's it. The camaraderie is great, and as I said, I've not been to a game for like since December, but I'm really looking forward to it. Problem is, you just can't get tickets. That's that's one of the things as well. Like, you know, before you was always getting tickets, you know, but now it's really hard even for us. Like, so, but look, it's a good sign. It's great to see like how we're going to play against Liverpool. That's going to be the next game. It is a free hit. I think actually Liverpool have a lot more to lose than we have, because if they're not going to perform and they only draw, then they're taking the advantage what Man City gave them last week, give them away. So look, yeah, we want to measure. We want to be exactly where they are. That's our goal. Maybe not for this season, but look, we can give it a go. We will score. We always score in the Emirates, so hopefully we can make something out of that. But yeah, but beside the goals, like we should have definitely scored more than 2 goals. Yeah, statistics are funny as well. Like, you know, 48%, and then, but it was really the first half. Like there was just 15% of the 15 minutes, which Leicester really had the ball, and that just kind of like really skewed it. And they obviously made a lot of passes then as well. But beside that, like chances created, chances like, you know, shots and goals. It was just like all Arsenal. And penalty, I don't know if it was blatant, but look, it took a while for it to come to a decision. It's not easy because the ball didn't really move. It touched his fingers. But yeah, it is like, look, if a goalkeeper, that's what they said, if a goalkeeper just puts a finger to his head, oh my God, it's a great save. He didn't really touch the ball, but look, he did. He went onto a defender on the line. It's a handball. He was lucky that there was a defender on the line. Otherwise, it would have been a red card as well. But anyway, it's just probably the ball would have gone in if there wouldn't be a defender on goal.
Yeah, true,
But
yeah.
but look, it is, and then the penalty just was so cool, slotted away like in that corner, like it was just. It's good to see Schmeichel being like out of his mind, like why what's going on, they really tried everything in the book like to make this as hard as possible, but they didn't. They're missing Marty, they're missing a lot of people, and in fairness, yeah, Rodgers hasn't got an easy thing. There is a lot of injuries, we had to fight, and it's not a thing. But we are showing that we can play these people, and look, that's it, and that's kind of what we like to see. And coming back as well, like when he admired like Ramsdale's corner, like taking the ball out of the corner, that's exactly what it is. And he must be sick of us like twice now in a row. Like he had like an absolute worldly save, against Leicester, and he's making a name of him, and hopefully that shows now as well on Thursday when Southgate is picking his team, because there's obviously two candidates. They have to be involved, and that's White and Ramsdale. And I know it's not easy for Pickford. He's playing for like a relegation team, you can nearly say, so it's he plays what Ramsdale played last year. Yeah. So and it's very hard for a goalkeeper to make something if the front four of them are not great. A goalkeeper can't do anything about it. So it's not his fault. It depends on what Southgate is going to see. Is he going to stick with Pickford, or is he playing with the man on fire at the moment? And then coming back to Ben White, and as Eamon said, it's so frustrating that he's not here today, because he would have picked up on that, because he probably would have seen that. I don't know if you've seen probably. I don't know if it was on your side where we are. When Ramsdale got kicked in the thing, he was just injured, he was thing, and White came over, picked up a blade of grass off his face, and then took the football and kicked him straight in the nuts, and that's exactly what kind of that kind of player thing is. And as well as when he was in the line for a free kick, like I said, the referee said, I'm not doing anything, he's just this baby face assassin, that you can, nothing can happen to him, But he is just, as Eamon said, he's kind of like an Italian mentality player, a little bit of dirty on one side, and small little bits and pieces, and that's exactly what we need, and we need this kind of thing. And he's having a stormer. And if he's not going to be picked in front of Maguire, I have no idea what's going on in the world, because would be absolute tragedy. But look, we'll see what happens. It's not going to change anything what we do. But it would be nice for the boys to be recognized as well on the international stage and get a thing. So hopefully, 2 points, 3 points again, and a big game coming up against Liverpool.
If I could just add on the Ramsdale piece, I think that even beyond the save, I think it was a good save. It was a really good save. But actually, one of the things being in the grounds, especially the end we were on in the first half, we're kind of looking right down on Ramsdale when sort of all the action was in our end, and his ability to be aggressive, to come off his line, makes such a difference to this team. And I think that's a big reason that Leno ended up being dropped is he just was rooted to his line very, very often. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I think Leno is a very good keeper. He made a lot of really great saves for us, but think about some of the punches and some of the catches that Ramsdale is making, and it makes just such a big difference to our ability to handle set pieces and just other sorts of dangerous crosses, because he's willing to just be aggressive and take chances.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
100%.
Imagine that England's spine of their team would be Ramsdale, White, Smith Rowe, and Saka straight down the middle. Imagine that for some players. And fairness, I think they all deserve a run out now in the next two internationals. I think Ramsdale has earned. I honestly think, I said this in earlier shows, I think Ramsdale is a better shot stopper than Pickford, and he's, as Eric said there, he's more controlling in his box. He's aggressive.
It's just I feel with Pickford,
comfortable, aren't they? They trust in him.
I just feel with Pickford is when you watched it in the Euros, you had this feeling with him. When is he going to make this mistake? He's kind of a bit nervy. He's a good goalkeeper.
He's erratic, isn't he?
A goalkeeper is only, for me, as good as your front four, the back four in front of you. Because if you don't have this as a unit, then it doesn't matter who you put into goal, and that's the problem what it has. And Pickford just didn't not because he doesn't play for Arsenal or why he's not. I don't care about that. But like when I looked at Pickford in the Euros, he just doesn't look as controlled. I don't think he has the same mentality to the front four. He doesn't command the box as much, and that's what you said. Like, you know, he's not rooted to the line, and that's what Leno is. Leno is a great goal stopper.
He is,
but he just hasn't got this ability to control the people in front of him, do something, you know, and that's what makes Ramsdale such a likable guy, because you know that's and look, we also we're gonna judge him when he makes really bad mistakes, you know, and when he gets really, like, you know, he makes mistakes.
In his number
but
one,
I think he's really kind of take them mistakes and probably, you know, like, you know, not forget about them, but he's learning from them, because we had a few games now where he didn't play that well, you know, where he had a few shots like with the wending, but my God, he had some passes. Like, you know, he, as I said, there was one shot when he put the Partey like about over 30-40 meters, and it was like straight, like it died down on the ground, and it was just straight to the man. And that's exactly what you need. And he needs to practice it, because, and there's more confidence he gets, he's just gonna get the ball, spreads them out, you know, and that's what you want. And look, at long may it continue, you know, but then I said, like, I hope he just gonna get the recognition as well, international stage, and, you know, like, be England number one for a long time, hopefully.
Yeah, by far, yeah, because he's he's on the right road, like we had with David Seaman. You know, he's a top young keeper. Yeah, I liked him, to be honest. I said this at the start of the season. He was player of the season for Bournemouth and Sheffield United, and they were both teams that went down. So that says a lot, you know, when your goalkeeper gets player of the year, you know, and you go down to, he was unlucky, sadly, to go down twice, but he's, you know, he always seems to bounce back, you know, he lets nothing get to him, which is great as a young goalkeeper, because we've seen many players just go downhill, their head goes down, and they just have stinkers week on week, but he seems to bounce back week on week, you know, and he takes the criticism and he builds from it. So we can only, as long as he's a good last 10-12 matches of the season, we get forwards, I'm happy with him. Before we move on to our preview of Liverpool, we stand in fourth place at present with 51 points. We're a point ahead of United, and all going well tomorrow night, if we did beat Liverpool, we'd have a 4-point cushion over them. But at the moment, it really is in our hands for place, because we've got 3 games in hand over the United, West Ham. I think Wolves are probably gone over at this stage, and Spurs obviously have 2 in hand. Before we move on, as I said, Ernie, you were at the match. Who was your man of the match on Sunday?
I think it has to be Martin Odegaard. He was just he was electric, especially in that second half. But even all the good things we were doing in the first half, he dominated the ball, he controlled the game, and you know, he was so good. And
he grew in confidence, didn't he?
Sorry?
He grew in confidence every time he got the ball. He had a vision in his head.
Absolutely, and you know, he just made so many plays where, you know, he just had the ball in the string. He moved it around. He moved the opposition around. He created space for everybody. Like he was just really, really good. He was able to dribble out of tight spaces so often. You know, it was very clear, you know, and I think that, you know, the only reason I paused is, like, Thomas Partey scored a goal and was also really good. So, you know, it's just one of those things where Martin Odegaard was so good, you have to give him credit. But I think, you know, he just, every time they tried to deny him the ball, he found a way to create an angle, receive the ball, and wiggle his way out of tight spaces, and it was just great to watch. Like, it was, like I said, you know, I think when we talk about how great it was to watch this game and to watch this team, you know, it all goes through him. All that slick one-touch passing moves, the quickness and the tempo that we play at when we're on top is just great to watch, and it all goes through him, right? He's the one that's controlling that tempo, who's dictating it, and it's just I thought he was tremendous.
Martin, who stood out for you?
Look, I mean, it's exactly the same, and that's I can't even remember who got man of the match in the actual game from Sky. Like, but I know Partey and Odegaard were both interviewed, so I don't know if one of them gave it each other, but like, yeah, both of them really deserved it. But I think and that's what Eric said as well, is like what Odegaard is kind of doing is kind of something. And I think that's the reason as well, again, why we are where we are now is, if you remember, there was an interview with Partey when he started playing with Arsenal and kind of saying like, this is not the style I was playing in Atletico. I'm not playing sideways at Atletico. I was putting the ball forward, but there was nobody there to play the ball too. So, and even Xhaka didn't have that, I wouldn't say confidence, but not that freedom that he's now, that he just moves a bit more forward and he can actually put the ball forward. And even when Odegaard has the ball from the back, they go forward. There's no sideways passing anymore. They're trying to play with quick 1-1s, up to going to the front and trying to score. And that's what makes Partey now a better player. That's what makes Xhaka a better player. Yeah. That's what makes all of them a better player, because it's kind of like even Tierney was having techers all of a sudden, and started playing in the corner, and shoot. So they're all starting to it. The only thing is, obviously, you have to know when you do it. You will have your oppositions, where you can't do it, and then you lose a ball, you look silly. But they are growing in such a confidence now that I think that's the way they want to play. And we had this thing where they kind of put the ball back, and because they didn't want to put the ball out, and it backfired, But I think that's the risk we're taking to get better, to play a better, attractive football. But I think all these things together, the working together with Partey, Odegaard, and Xhaka, and all the other players around him, that just makes the team better, and it makes especially Partey better. And that's what you need. And I can't wait for the minute when he actually has a screamer in the top corner, when he actually hits the goal, because
close.
that's exactly what he needs. He's getting closer and closer and closer. And God hope he's going to score one against Liverpool. That would be an absolute dream, and the place would do. No, but I think, for me, between Odegaard and Partey, but I give it to Partey because, as I said, I'm going to call this show Party On. And it's definitely, long may it continue, that he has this freedom to play and play the football he plays,
One thing I'll just say that stood out to me in the stadium was I thought Gabriel was immense. I thought he was so good at cutting off all of their supply lines. If you think back, did Iheanacho touch the ball?
Iheanacho was frustrated as shit.
He was so frustrated.
So frustrated.
But I think honestly, you look at the way the ball was coming through the middle, and both Ben White and Gabriel were so on the front foot and just stopping that supply line, because they just, even when they had all that possession, it was on the periphery. It was in the midfield, but it just wasn't getting to their strikers, right? And so I think that's a place where, because we were able to cut out that the ball got to Partey really quick, and we were able to just move the ball and start to attack again. And all of that is because we trust Ben White and Gabriel to go and win the ball, right? It's kind of similar to when the best teams that Koscielny was on, where he would get out in front, he'd attack the ball, and that just allows us to move forward so much quicker. So I just want to say I thought both center backs were really good in that match.
It's actually and that's another thing maybe to mention. I don't know if you've seen that. You said when White, when he had that last ditch where he got the ball and just kicked it out. The reason for that actually to happen is because, and this is kind of how show the togetherness of the team is, because Martinelli actually came all the way back from the front, right, and started to defend as well up front, and he actually disturbed, I don't know who the player was who had the ball, but he disturbed them that much that he had to make an extra step, and because of that extra step, White was there and he kicked the ball away. So it's not only it's a great solid defense what we have, but we have our players coming back and defending, what we had Lacazette in the 91st minute, he was back at the corner flag, trying to think. So we have this they're fighting for each ball, for each other, for every ball, and that's good to see, and that makes everything stronger. And with the center backs are just immense, and hopefully they can keep up the way they're doing it, and that's the great thing about it.
Yeah, and there's no real personalities anymore, like the Aubameyangs and the Ozils they used to.
No, there's loads of personalities, I think, but
it's
there's
just
no divas.
No egos.
There's this kind of the egos are there, they all seem to be, all
together.
working together, and because there's such a young team, I think that just makes it that much easier,
Yeah, big time, Martin. Yeah, it's just so refreshing to see how we've kicked on without Aubameyang. Because I did fear the worst because he was our provider of goals over the last 2 or 3 seasons. But it's a team effort now, and everyone's getting in amongst the goals now. And you can see the smiles on all their faces as well, that they're enjoying their football. And and that only builds confidence as well. So, it's great to see, and long may it continue. And that brings us nicely on to the match tomorrow night. Liverpool at home, 8:15 in Sky Premier League. Our last fixture, of course, was on away, November the 20th. We lost 4-0, and we lost, of course, the semi-final, 2-0 at home. We drew 0 all. Quite good performance, in fairness, considering we were down to time end that night. Our away performance in the league, we done well. I think we both agree. In the first half at least, and then there was the second half we just caved in. But fast forward 3 or 4 months now to March, and I'd be a lot more optimistic now than I would have been last November. I think we could get something now. This more realistically, probably a draw, but a score draw, 2-2 maybe. I'll come to Martin. How do you see the match going tomorrow night, Martin?
Again, we said like before, like this is gonna be now a real tester. This is gonna be where we want to be in the next year or in the next 2 years. That's the level where we want to get, because they are in the top 3 or 4 in the world now. And look, this is exactly the match. As I said, I don't want to call it a free hit, because there is no free hits in the Premier League. But I personally think that Liverpool have a lot more to lose. Because they are chasing the title. I know we are chasing for it, but let's say like that. I don't think we need to win this game to come top 4, because we have other games where we can, where we should win. But we should give it everything, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to put a game to them. We did it against Man City. We just got really bad stung by referees and bad decisions and really stupid mistakes we did. So if we have the same attitude, what we had against Man City, we can definitely. It's like, and as I said, Emirates is a fortress now. The people are there, the fans are there, the atmosphere is there. So I don't think we're gonna go under as we did in the thing for. And I went over a funny stat. Like, this is the first time a match has been played with 2 teams who won 5 games in a row since 2008.
Oh wow!
Guess what that match was? Arsenal and Liverpool.
4-4, was it?
Yeah, that was the thing.
Was that the
So, and that's kind of like, like history repeats itself. So this is the first time we won 5 times and they're meeting there. So yeah, it's a funny stat. Like, but let's hope we can do something, and as I said, I'm not using it as a free hit, but I don't think we have as much to lose as Liverpool have. It would be great, as I say, if Partey scores the 1-0 or straight corner on top of whatever. But the way I see it, if I get going, I think I would go for a 1-1. I'm hoping for a 2-1. But I think we will score. It's just depending on how Liverpool are gonna take this game, and see what they can do, So, but I think we're gonna give them a good game.
Yeah, that's. I have to say, superb research going into that, Mark. 2 wins in a row. So frustrating, Deirdre, that I didn't get that. Liverpool, of course, have won 5 wins in a row, but I think our 5 wins have been a lot more convincing than theirs. I know they're getting wins now, but they haven't been convincing as they were when they were spanking teams before that, pre 2022.
Didn't they just win like 6-0 over Leeds or something?
Thanks, Eric. aside from Leeds, so frustrating. So frustrating.
The only thing what I can say is like,
he's not welcome on the show
what makes it a different Liverpool now is like, I mean, Diaz is obviously a revelation for them. So between him and Jota, like, he's a thorn in our eyes because he scores for every single game he plays.
Seems to score, doesn't he?
He's the new Jamie Vardy. For fuck's sake, he just really, like, is annoying. It's frustrating.
He's got that a few times, Eamon. I hope you're proud of us. So frustrating.
But but Diaz is really like, he's
actually-
stepping to the mark, and it's
Absolutely.
gonna be interesting now, like who we're gonna play now on Tuesday. I can't see Tomiyasu being risked for that game. I just don't
No.
think so.
No.
And he will give Cedric definitely a game on that side, So
I think he's done
again-
okay, Cedric, hasn't he?
no,
in the
no.
last-
I'm not.
Yeah,
Look, I'm not criticizing Cedric at all.
yeah,
Like,
but I know he's not up to
really stepped
that
the mark.
against quality
But I mean,
players.
it's gonna be a good matchup now for him with Diaz on that side.
Yeah.
Depends who else is gonna help him out.
Yeah.
Not saying that we should change a lot around of it. It might be interesting to even see Pepe on that side, because I think Pepe and Suarez are playing Cedric, they're playing quite well together. But like, look, I don't think we're gonna change a lot the way we perform. As I said, Tomiyasu, he was training, but he's gonna be assessed before then. Would you really put him in that game straight away? Like, I'd rather have him playing against Villa and like see where it goes. Have him maybe on the bench, and have some other options on it. But like, it's gonna be. I think that's gonna be a danger man. Salah was injured, kind of. He did something to his leg or his foot, but he's back in training now, so I think he will play. But he's not. Get me if I'm wrong. Like, he's not playing the way he did play a couple of weeks ago. I don't think so.
No.
He's still a threat. Like, he's probably going to turn up and score 3 goals against me. But he's not. Since he came back from the African Cup of Nations, he's not on top form. And that's kind of thing. But look, they have so many other players who can score anytime. It'd be an interesting game.
Yeah, I go for a score. I think 2-2.
Yeah.
But make sure we edit that out come next week if you get spanked. So frustrating. Eric, how do you see the match going? There's going to be goals in it, definitely, isn't there?
I mean, I can't imagine that neither team will score. I think that would be.
Yeah.
Jesus, you get good odds on that anyway. But I think I just, how great is it that we're like about to play one of the top 2 or 3 best teams in the world, and we're sitting here going, this is exciting. Let's see how we match up, and think, maybe we can get something out of this. I mean, I haven't felt that about an Arsenal match against Liverpool in a long time. I tell you that much. And it's just it's really great to see that we're in the conversation.
It is. Yeah.
I see this very similar to how that Man City match was. It not necessarily in the sense that like we're going to go out there and kind of I think we took the game to Man City at many points of it, but this could turn into a basketball match. It could really be up and down,
up and down.
With really high intensity.
Yeah.
What I'll say, Martin talked a little bit of the lineup. I think we will make 0 changes unless there's any injury or illness. Like, we're going to go out there with the same lineup. We're going to play the same game, and I think Arteta's going to say, let's see where we're at. And to my mind, this game could finish any number of ways. I think we're going to run them close.
I think so.
And I think even to your point about how that first match went, we were playing well.
I thought the first half we played really well.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's not. We certainly weren't dominating in all the, but like they picked up the goal, and then we opened up a bit, and they were able to come out and pick something up, but. We definitely weren't playing as well as we are now ahead of that match. Like, we're going into this full of confidence, best form we've been in years.
Yeah. And
it's a chance. It's an opportunity, and I think we're just going to see a really good, really exciting game. 2-2 sounds as good a shout as 3-3 or anything else. I would say, as the optimistic Arsenal supporter, I'm kind of thinking a draw.
I think so.
But I wouldn't.
You never know.
I wouldn't be surprised if we lost, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we won. I think that there's. I just think that this is one of those games that can be decided on very fine margins, just like that City game was, right? Like, very fine margins end up making up the difference in these big games, especially when both teams are on form. And so to my mind, it's all there to play for. I'm really excited just to see it. I just think it's gonna be a great game to watch.
Yeah. I think, as Martin said, it's a free hit. We've got plenty of games to recover from if it does go wrong, and and let's see how we play against one of the best teams, as Martin said earlier as well, in the world, if not in the Premier League at the moment. Because I think we'll all agree Man City and Liverpool are just well ahead in terms of everything. But I think we've surprised the pundits, which is really refreshing, as we said at the start of the show. They're starting to sit up and take notice now, where we were the laughing stock and we were told that we'd never finish in Europe again after what we saw last season, So we've to get the pundits that were critical of us in the last few seasons is refreshing. And, what Arteta's done in a short space of time in 2 years, you can see the togetherness of the team, and they believe in the plan that he has for us, So, like, tomorrow night, if we get a draw, that will be like a victory, just because it will show how far we've come against a top team, and that horse to say, but they are a top team, Liverpool. But hopefully, the glory days for us isn't too far off, And I believe if we stick to the plan with Arteta, it won't be, So that game is on Sky Sports at 8:15 tomorrow night, and another drinking session.
Yeah, we'll be live in the river bar.
Yeah, it'd be a lock-in, as Martin said, till next Sunday, because that brings us on to the next match. It will be so frustrating if they run out of alcohol come Wednesday night. As I'm sure the bar will be drank dry by both sets of fans, considering everyone's off the next 4 days. That brings us on to Saturday's match and 12:30 kickoff against Aston Villa, away from home. CBG side, of course, and we coming up against Emiliano Martinez, our former keeper. The last time we played was October the 22nd, 3-1 at home. Partey scored his first goal for us. Smith Rowe scored an absolute peach. The run he made from our own half down to theirs and just buried it. Of course, Aubameyang scored a penalty. I think my memory serves me.
He rebounded and then had to do it the second time. Yeah.
Martinez had he saved it, and then
great for the fantasy football, like a safe penalty for Martinez, like missed one for Aubameyang, but then still scores.
I love the
great.
disgusting things, And then of course Jacob Ramsey at them scored the consolation, but that was late on in the game. That was Eamon was at that one, I think, and he said we played really well that night. And from what I saw on TV, that was a cracking night. Actually, it was in Malta, and I was in a fancy restaurant, and out she goes. They just squared in the arse of Jersey. They just looked at me in disgust. They're all Liverpool fans, but it's great when you're away and you see victories. It doesn't come very often. But CBG, in fairness to him, he took over in November. He's done pretty well with them. It's really exciting to watch. Brought Coutinho there in January. And he's changed them in midfield, creative as always, and getting goals as well. So this won't be an easy game from the time we played him last. But Villa Park isn't an easy place to go to. It's one of those old school grounds. The fans are right on top of you. But I think we were able to quieten down the home fans the way we start games now. We're in their faces early. And I think the first goal will be the big one in this game. If we score first, I think their confidence could go. But obviously Coutinho and all, but you have him in your team, he can turn anything like ourselves with Odegaard. So we can match up there, thankfully, this season. I'll go to Eric this time. Early morning kickoff, Eric, on Saturday. How do you see it going?
I think it's going to be really interesting. I think a lot will depend on how much energy we expend on Wednesday and whether or not we have to rotate it all going into it. I think, to my mind, this is one of those matches that, a manager sort of has to get his team through and figure out a way to win. Because we may not be at full tilt come especially lunchtime Saturday after a Wednesday kind of big match on the Wednesday night. So I think it'll be really interesting to see if we rotate it all for that one. I think this is a match that Arteta knows that we need to win. And I don't think that, I think he's going to treat it very similar to how he treated that Wolves match, where he's going to throw everything at trying to get 3 points from it. Because if we talk about our finishing in the top 4, that's the type of match we're going to have to figure out a way to win. Yeah. And like, yeah, look, a point, 3 points from Liverpool could go a long way to sorting out that. But ultimately, like, the types of matches we're going to have to win is the away matches against Villa, right? Like, if you think about the other matches we have coming up that are similar, I mean, we're West Ham away, Southampton away, Palace away. Exactly. They're all very similar teams, very similar types of games. And like, in our run-in, those are the matches we have to win. And that's where we're going to pick up the big amount of points. We have to win them. And so I think Arteta's going to throw everything at trying to win it, because, ultimately we have another week or 2 week off because of the international break following that match. So to my mind, they must have gone in with their kind of doctors and everything else leading up to this match, saying we need to have this lineup that we're currently playing ready to go for 3 matches in a week, and really focus on the rest and preparation ahead of that, because it's going to be through another high intensity match. Villa has played much better, and they have a bit of craft with Coutinho now. So I think it's going to be a tough match. I think a lot will depend on how does that Liverpool match go, and are we in a good place mentally to approach it? But ultimately, I think that the team talk is going to be very similar to what he said against Leicester. It's, we need to go out and we need to win. It's like these are the matches that you have to prove yourself. And quite frankly, like, if we want to be a Champions League team, we're going to have to play 3 matches in a week, and we're going to have to find ways to win them. So this is just another opportunity for these players to get a taste of what that is, right? Leicester Villa with a big match on a Wednesday night. I mean, that's Champions League, right?
Yeah.
So this is exactly that, and I think he's going to have players in the mental space to really approach that, and I think we have a good chance to win it. I think Villa is a tough team, especially away. But look, if we played like we did the other night, we're going to beat a lot of teams. So I just want to see us to continue to approach the game in the same way, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think when you watch the Champions League tonight, now it does give you the goo. Like, that's where I want to be as a player, and as Ernie said there, these games come ticking fast. 3 games in a week, like, that's the headache that you want as a manager, to see the mentality of the players. Are they up for this, and do you really want European football come next season? But look, by looking at all of them, they're just itching for it now. I think, they really want that 4th place, because we were so used to finishing forwards that we took it for granted, and when you're 6 years starved, it was, you really want it now. Martin, how do you see the game on Saturday morning going?
Yeah, again, like, this is exactly the week where we probably look what we need as well. Is like, and there's a few factors I think which is going to play in our hands, because we have a young team, which I think is, they recover quicker. And again, as Eric said, like, after the 3 games, we have a period where they can, relax, whatever they need to do, beside the guys who probably have to go on international duty. But that's exactly what they are players. They're football players. They want to do that. Like, we say, look, we play at home, which is good as well. So against Liverpool, so we don't have to travel anywhere. So we have the 2 games now at home, and then we're just gonna have the away trip up to Birmingham. But yeah, it is what it is. It's gonna be interesting which way we come out of the Liverpool game, because that's gonna do your mindset. What I'm hoping for is, even if you don't get the result against Liverpool, that we're going to pick ourselves up and we are actually playing exactly the same, because these are the games we need to win. these are the games where we have to pick up our points. There are no 3 pointers like what against Liverpool. This is what we need to do, and if we can get a result there, it'd be great. Look, we won 3-1 in the home fixture, but the 3 games before we lost, with no goal scored against them. Again, we could blame that on like there was no spectators, it was empty stadiums, and it was in the middle of the pandemic, but we didn't do well against them. So they're not an easy team to play with, and especially with Coutinho. Coutinho changed that team the same way as Odegaard is changing Arsenal now. He is that kind of midfield maestro, like he was picking the passes, and that's great. The only problem is they don't have that many players to play the balls too. Yeah. So, like that's one of the things I was looking at who would go into our team from Villa. There's not that many. There's probably Bundia, we can say, because we were looking out, we wanted to get him. Coutinho you would take as well, but we do have Odegaard, so he would have a hard time to go past Odegaard. The goalkeeper Martinez, obviously we sold him to Villa, so we would take him back because he is a good goalkeeper. There's no doubt about it.
Stopper, yeah.
And then maybe Watkins. That's about it. But is he any better than Saka or anything, or Martinelli? Not really. So there's not that many players there that would go into our team, and this is just the way we have to look at it. And we can beat anybody on the day, and we just have to do it. We just have to go with the same spirit, and we just have to look. And as Eric said, they surely looked at this and said, "This is what we have to do for the 3 games. This is how can we go through that game, and we will have to do this in future. Of course, we will buy more people. We have more strikers. We have a deeper squad depth, but." That's just what we want to reach in the end, and they all know it, and that's the way to do it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. I'm probably not going to watch it live. I'm going to have it on the golf boogie, and I'm going to stream it live somewhere. So, because I'm going to be in a K Club playing golf, and just going to be going probably crazy on the 15th green, when some goal is going to get now.
So
but it will be it's frustrating, or just take a whack at the flag or something. I don't know, depending what's going to happen. But it will be a good game. I'll be definitely having it in my ear what's going to happen, and hopefully it's 3 points.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 3-1 again. I think Villa will score, but I think we'll have enough in the tank. I think we'll score first, and I think we'll silence the Villa Park faithful, and I think we can build on it from there, because I think that all going well on Wednesday night, the confidence isn't too low if we do get a heavy defeat, but I don't think we will at the Emirates. The Emirates under lights is cracking, and with Liverpool there's going to be even more. So I'll go with 3-1 myself. Eric, how do you say it?
I'd say for that one, I might go. I'd say 1-0.
From 4-1 last week to 1-0, conservative.
Sure, but
cool and calm.
There were more goals in that Leicester match. I think it might be really tight one against Aston Villa, especially coming off that Liverpool match where we might be huffing and puffing to win that one. So I just think from an energy standpoint, it's probably a lower scoring match. And so I'd say 1-0, 2-1, that sort of thing would make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. Match on Wednesday, because when you look at our bench, we don't really have the player-on-player replacements for we heavily rely kind of on that 11 to get us through injury free. And Martin, you were saying yourself 3-1 there as well.
Yeah. Well, as I said, if they score, I think it could be a 3-1. But I think it's because it's like such a long week. The energy levels won't be the same. I think we might even see a few changes. It actually might be the point where Lacazette might step out for the first kind of thing, and they might put Martinelli in front, or maybe even Pepe. I don't know. Put Smith Rowe in, and try. It depends. But I think there might be a few changes because you just have to. And Lacazette is not the youngest anymore, and he's training with real intensity in the last couple of games. So I'm hoping he's doing that against Liverpool tomorrow, and then he'd be wrecked, to play on Saturday. Yeah. So not that I don't want to see him in the team. There's no such thing on it. But I think this is why we need to change, and we have to have some players there. And we have Smith Rowe and Pepe sitting on the bench now, which is great as well. But I'm confident. I think it's a 2-0. I took out my Champions League scarf.
Yeah, exactly. So he's enough for next September, lads.
Exactly, for next September. So that's how confident I am, because it's like I think there's some mothballs on it already because it's that long. It's in that draw, So
it's either that or you'll strangle yourself with it. It's there on standby.
Exactly. But I think we can definitely take them. And it'd be great, like if you can. I'd say a 2-0. Put myself down at a 2-0.
Yeah, we're going for the win, Henry, lads, and I can see that. Yeah, we built on regardless of the result tomorrow night. It's another quick game, a bounce back game, and you can only ask for a good performance. And look, obviously the win is a bonus, but just go out there, show yourselves for what you are, and hopefully another away victory. So that brings us on. That's of course on BT Sport at 12:30 on Saturday. That brings us on to there were some rearranged fixtures announced today. Regarding the Chelsea game away, that will be on Wednesday, April the 20th. That will be at 7:45 live on Sky Sports. Manchester United is on Saturday, April the 23rd. That'll be a 12:30 kickoff live on BT. And Sunday, May the 1st, West Ham, that will be a 4:30 kickoff now on Sky Sports Premier League. So there are 3 games rearranged. And obviously something to look forward to. Be a busy April, of course. I think there's about 5 or 6 games in that month. Is there anything else before we wrap up that you'd like to talk about?
Not at the moment. I think, as I said, for every game we're going to be in the River Bar, especially on Wednesday. It should be a good night just before Paddy's night. And then see how we go, and then long may it continue.
Now, before we finish up, I'll be doing the second half of my half marathons for the donate.redcross.ie. I done the first there on Sunday in Bohermeen, 2 hours 8 minutes. So hopefully I get something close to that again on Thursday in Mullingar. Any donation is more than welcome with the Ukraine crisis going on. So any listeners there, feel free to donate, no matter how big or small. Every little helps, Exactly. Football is a small part to what's going on in the world at the moment, but it brings everyone together and it gives us a bit of entertainment and happiness, I think, week on week. I'd like to thank my guests as always. Martin Hassenhüttl stumbled and Eric so frustrating gentlemen. It's a pleasure, and hopefully we'll have Eamon and John back next week. I hope we done Eamon proud. We got so frustrating there in a good few times. You can catch our show on Spotify, SoundCloud, and the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel. We'll see you all on next Tuesday. There'll also be a special feature on David Rocastle's 24th anniversary coming up as well. So we'll give that a brief mention as well. So until next week, thanks for listening, lads, and we'll see you on the other side.
Come on, you Gooners. See you later. Have a good one. Bye.